Go.
We're in town and we're watching Lady J.
Jay Jenkins, you're sick for this one, baby. What? Hey, come on. Lady J's montage is a show to watch for the mom and the children and the pops, giving life to the community. In the community, there'll be more unity. Sit back, relax, take a look. Give me 28 minutes and you'll be hooked. Lady J's montage. Lady J, what? Lady J, what? Lady J, huh? Lady J, what? Hey, hey, hey. Lady J's montage is a show to watch for your mom and the children and the pops, giving life to the community. In the community, there'll be more unity. Sit back, relax, take a look. Give me 28 minutes and you'll be hooked. Lady J's montage. Lady J, let's go.
I took the blue Metro to the Smithsonian so that I could go to the museum. Here comes my ride.
Hi everybody, this is Lady J of Lady J's Montage, and I'm in Washington, D.C. celebrating Martin Luther King Jr.'s 50th anniversary.
All right, this day is special to me because Dr. King gave us a chance to be better, to be entrepreneurs. For me, myself, I personally went to college. That's something that Dr. King cared about, education. So the fact that he taught that on such a large level is what makes this day special for me. And to see all these black people who are prosperous and travel here from all over the country, where they can sit on anywhere in the bus. You know, just little things like that make this a special day for me.
One day a man came to Jesus.
When the glory comes,
I want to thank God
it will be
for allowing me to be here with you. These days of challenge,
one day
we have an opportunity
when the war is
to
won,
make America
we will
a better
be
nation.
sure.
Let us move on.
We will be sure.
I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over. I've seen the promised land.
Hands to the heavens, no man, no weapon formed against, yes, glory is destined. Every day women and men become legends.
We felt the weight just about every day because we knew that we were building something not for the next 10 years, but the next 100 years that would represent our culture.
The museum really is not just about making any shape just for the sake of it. It really tries to make, from the very silhouette, a story for people to ask why. And it really tries to bring you back to Central and West Africa, so that you think about the kind of empires of that time and the history that the African American community have, but also that the geometry, like coming to America, that defers to the monument of Washington, the 17.5 degrees, to show how it's integral. Even though it's from a different place, it's part of the same place. It's part of this place, America. We wanted a building that wasn't just constantly reflecting the light in the way that stone does, but we wanted something that would really be alive with the light, be more organic. And in a way, what it does is it really talks about the spectrum of the sort of dark presence in America, the dark presence on the mall. From bright to light. When it's a beautiful sunny day like this, it seems like the building's sometimes on fire. It's golden and sort of aflamed. And then on a dull day, it's quiet, it's subtle, but it's almost black. And you kind of think it's black, and then you look and you see that it's got glints of brown and it shimmers. And we think that that's about a really nice metaphor for the community. It's very diverse.
At night, the building takes on another character as light is emanating from it as opposed to being reflected from the sun. The site is really important. If you think about the mall and the other buildings that are important to Washington, this 5-acre site is the very last site that could accommodate something like this. So in many ways, it's going to be there as a reminder of the importance of this institution because of its location, literally within the shadow of the Washington Monument.
It's taken 200 years to complete this master plan. And last but not least, I think this museum completes it, makes you understand the sort of what the founding fathers were trying to achieve with this notion of palaces of culture to educate the people. And I think this museum comes at a very opportune time to finish this master plan and to send it into the future.
In recent weeks, the U.S. national anthem has been at the heart of protests against police brutality. But on Saturday, it was sung in celebration just blocks from the White House as the country welcomed its newest museum, the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture.
It's something that's really needed to me in the African American community because I feel like a lot of people in my generation don't really know where we come from, and that's a lot of the reason why people feel like we're lost or misunderstood because we don't understand our own heritage.
I think it's very important. I definitely want to expose my son to history, African American history. I feel that it's important that he's exposed so that he knows who he is as an African American male.
Not a song of love between you and me.
This really enhances the social community aspect of embracing diversity and you know, I think true equality isn't eradicating differences, but it's celebrating differences.
Please welcome U.S. Representative of the...
One of the museum's themes is overcoming obstacles, an experience the Congressman John Lewis knew all too well from his days as a civil rights activist.
This museum is a testament to the dignity of the dispossessed in every corner of the globe who yearn for freedom. It is a song to the scholars and scribes, scientists and teachers, to the revolutionary and the voices of protests.
Despite the enthusiasm for the new museum, it is controversial. Some say that the National Mall, which is in essence the nation's front garden, shouldn't be home to institutions that focus on only one race or ethnic group. The U.S. president addressed the issue during his speech.
The story told here doesn't just belong to Black Americans. It belongs to all Americans. We're not a burden on America or a stain on America. We're an object of pity or charity for America. We're America.
Thousands of people watched the president and Ruth Bonner, the daughter of a man born in slavery, as they rang a bell to open the 7-story building. And then they all joined with the choir to close the ceremony. Lift Every Voice and Sing, also known as the Negro National Anthem, another piece of U.S. history on the national stage. Rosalind Jordan, Al Jazeera, Washington.
name is John Whittington Franklin. My mother was from Goldsboro. We used to come into Wilson by train, and my grandmother would come and pick us up. My father was John Hope Franklin. My mother was Aurelia Whittington Franklin. And I've had the pleasure of working here at the Smithsonian for the last 30 years. And since 2005 on this new museum, the National Museum of African American History and Culture. I serve here as senior manager in the Department of External Affairs. I'm basically a spokesperson and ambassador for the museum. I talk about the museum in North Carolina, across the country, and around the world. This museum was the dream of our Civil War veterans from 1915, and it only took 100 years to realize their dream. We've had the wonderful support of individuals, foundations, and corporations to fund the museum. More than half of the artifacts we have in the museum, people gave to us. And before we moved into the building, we had a small conference room, and any day you could see 3 or 4 generations of a family coming to donate their treasures to this museum. We're a museum of history and culture, so you have the opportunity to learn of our history from West Africa in 1400 right up to the present day, and then based on that history, understand how our culture evolved through music, through art, through food, through language, in all of our different cultural expressions. This is a very popular museum. It's the hottest ticket in town, maybe the hottest ticket in the country. We have 7,000 to 9,000 visitors a day, and we're open every day as all other Smithsonian museums, but Christmas Day, December 25th. So come to Washington. Come to plan to see your newest treasure, the National Museum of African American History and Culture.
Hi, my name is Wanda Mccleary, and I work at the African American Museum. You all need to come and visit and get your history on.
had to discuss baseball and basketball and football. And we also have the Olympic Games and boxing, as well as golf and tennis. And so then I began to think about what are those key moments that demonstrate how sports can be used as an agent for social change.
Through artifacts and works of art, through voices and writings, through courage and determination, through innovation and leadership, comprise an eloquent and powerful narrative central to our national identity.
We felt it was crucial to craft a museum that would help America remember and confront its tortured racial past. But we also thought, while America should ponder the pain of slavery and segregation, it also had to find the joy, the hope, the resiliency, the spirituality that was endemic in this community. So in essence, the goal was to find that tension between moments of tears and moments of great joy. The African American experience is the quintessential American experience. It is the experience that helped us understand our notions of optimism, our notions of liberty, our notions of citizenship. We realize this is a story for us all.
We really did want this museum to help Americans understand what it means to be American by looking through this lens of African American history.
Ultimately, this museum looks back, helps contextualize where we are, but hints at what a future can be, can maybe even help us find reconciliation and healing.
You know, we want you to be able to identify with the items that we have here. You know, we wanted to tickle your senses. I want you to walk in and be like, I recognize that smell from somewhere, you know? It's like, you know, for me, walking in the morning, the guys are starting off oxtails. It's like me walking into my grandmother's kitchen. You know, I smell the cinnamon, I smell the allspice, I smell the cloves. And that's why this is home.
Yeah.
This should be home for everybody.
Yeah. Love that. Oh my God.
And then with us, you know, we'll be changing the menu 4 times a year. We'll continue to tell more stories, but at the same time, we'll focus on the seasonal ingredients of all these regions. And, you know, we'll continue to tell stories. You know, we're working on a story about Nat Fuller, who was a Civil War soldier, but also was the cook for the soldiers down in Charleston. And he'd make this awesome shrimp pie, you know?
Shrimp pie.
So, you know, we're identifying these stories. A lot of our meals in our stations will coincide with festivals throughout the museum. This year for Thanksgiving, we're doing a holiday take-home. And it's literally, it's home. It's, you know, you get a smoked turkey, you're able to get our mac and cheese, our collard greens, country-style green beans, you're getting potato salad. We're doing Maryland-style oysters for the Marylanders. I'm sorry, Maryland-style crab cakes for the Marylanders, smothered turkey wings. I mean, you know, it's home.
And when does the Thanksgiving...
So Thanksgiving rollout, you'll be able to start ordering in about a week. You'll have the opportunity of picking up your Thanksgiving meal the day before Thanksgiving. And you can buy them either by the piece, as far as if you wanted to buy sides or you wanted to buy a turkey, but you can buy a whole complete meal also. So
you
literally,
can?
Yep. So literally, you take it home, you reheat. The only thing that'll come raw is your turkey. The great thing about your turkey is we set it up for you. We'll brine it for a day, we'll rub it down with sage butter, and then we'll even give you an herb mop to baste it as you're cooking. And it'll have all the instructions, we'll include a thermometer in there for you. So literally everything's done for you. And at the same time, we don't mind if you tell everybody you made it. You know, I'm not going to hold you accountable for it, but I'm going to make sure it's good.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
And that's what we do here. We've had great success down the road at Midtown Cafe, where I came from, and I've been the chef there for 4 years prior to coming here. And we've really shattered the mold of what restaurant cafes are across the world. Midtown's regarded as one of the top 10 museum dining concepts around the world. And that's up there with like the Guggenheim, the Met Museum, you know, all the cultural museums, and what we have here will blow it away.
Wow.
You know, we're striving for greatness. We have a lot of positive feedback, and at the same time we get a little negative feedback. But we encourage the negative feedback so we could, make these changes and we could troubleshoot these ideas and really make it something that really promotes our culture ahead of time, or promotes our culture forward. For me, African American food is American food. Simple as that. At times we cooked for families that were very wealthy. We were more, slavery time, and then after slavery we were indentured servants. And we were the ones preparing these meals. Even like in the White House and the Senate, some of your biggest galas in the world, congressional galas, they were all done by African Americans in the kitchen, and we've always been in the kitchen. So to me, that goes to show you that American food is African American food. We take precedence into it. We're a part of it. We've helped mold that. We've helped mold dining forever. And we really want this to continue to grow. We want to push it forward. We want people to understand our story. We want people to constantly talk about what we do here. For us, this is not just a restaurant and a museum. This is an exhibit. We're here to represent our culture through food, through community, and we want people to feel very receptive to what we do.
Okay, that's awesome. So what's the recipe again now for this?
So over here we do pickle juice. Because we pickle our own okra, green beans, and everything like that. We still use pickle juice.
Pickled okra.
You don't let stuff go to waste. Trust me. Okay. So it's a little pickle juice, a little bit of sugar, Duke's mayo, paprika, and that's it. And salt.
Okay.
But we add in there, we change it up a little bit. We have like roasted peppers in there. Instead of just adding raw peppers, we have charred onions, and just to really enhance the flavor of those vegetables that are in there also.
So are any other recipes like
our mac and cheese?
All right, let's go. Your mac and cheese is like a home recipe? Really?
Mac and cheese is a home recipe, but it's a little different than everybody else. What we've done is, there's two versions of macaroni and cheese all the time. There's the one with egg and there's the one with the roux. We chose not to do either.
Okay.
But we still make a bechamel, and we're utilizing cream cheese to help tie it together, so it actually gives it more of a zip, but at the same time doesn't make it as heavy. And then we use jack cheese as well as sharp cheddar cheese in there, and it's oven baked. We still like the crust on top. We have people coming here fighting for the crust on top of it. And that goes to show you how much it reminds you of home.
Oh my God.
There was nothing better than being able to get that corner slab of macaroni and cheese.
I know, right?
Cornbread's made in house. Biscuits we're making it every 15 minutes.
Oh, I gotta have biscuits today. I was
and as you look
about
at them,
biscuits.
they're rustically done. It's not perfect cookie cutters. It's like when your grandma was making biscuits for you. They taste great. They look cool. And then that's what we do. We slather them with a little bit of honey butter at the end of it. It's beautiful. Cornbread poppers.
Oh yeah.
It also shows the essential vitamins within it, that from cooking the greens and we're breaking down. The crazy thing is our greens are vegan.
Are they?
That's what I've had women tear me up and down about it. How can you cook greens without no fat back there? You ain't got no smoked
I
turkey
love
in there.
mine vegan.
But at the same time, we want to make sure that we have something to everyone. Even, right now in our culture, we have a lot of vegetarians.
We do.
And whether it's just a lifestyle or healthy living, we still want to embrace everybody and still be able to give them, that sense of homelessness. Our Creole coast over there, we do a crawfish, and green sauce of combo, and that really just showcases, the Creole coast. Prior to those days, a lot of people our Brunswick stew has down south, the Carolina and stuff like that, we ate rabbit. So, we're bringing these flavors back out. Our trout over here.
Oh yeah.
Trout's one of the most bountiful fish throughout the Midwest.
Yeah.
And we jazzed it up by actually stuffing it with cornbread. As well as mustard green. So you have the sweetness and you have the bitter.
Mustard green.
Son of Gun stew, which is a story in itself. Son of Gun stew used to be called the
Really? I didn't know that.
Because, how you doing this morning? Because, when we'd make these stews, they gave us the junk that was left. So initially it was lungs, it was, cow brains, it was everything. It was everything that you didn't want to eat because all the better cuts of meat went out to market. And We couldn't afford them, or they didn't have them for us. But we jazz it up here where we do it with short ribs. So, you know, but it's still taking that traditional old school recipe and thought and putting it out here and jazzing up for our guests that come in. We feature a totally vegan empanada over here, which is, you know, the cross mingling of Native Americans, Latinos, and African Americans throughout the West. You know, we do a little chanterelle mushroom in there, grilled corn, and we actually juice corn to help bind it but still keep it moist on the inside instead of adding either cheese or cream or something like that. So we're utilizing corn meal, and it helps thicken it up, so it's a natural thickener. You know, nothing better than blistered carrots. We also do a peach and blackberry cobbler over here, where it's not overly sweet. You know, it has a tad bit of sugar in there, but like the richness of the tanginess of the peaches, you know, going out of season is what helps, you know, really wrap the flavors together. And then our dessert bar, you know, we have a couple of cool items over there from our sweet potato pie. We're doing, you know, literally grandma's banana pudding. Nothing crazy, straight sweet banana pudding. The only jazziest